Okay, so the article starts with Pat and his friends. They're playing basketball. Laura passes by the court.
Miss Laura.
So, yeah, to pass by just means to walk by, walk next to a particular place or person or an activity, but by chance. It wasn't planned, you know, Laura just happened to do it. She wasn't planning to go and see Pat, she's just walking by while they're playing basketball. Two separate events that are suddenly connected, okay? You could also say you passed by a clothes shop and saw it's having a sale. So you go, oh, I'm going to look at that, but you didn't plan to go there to check out the sale.
Good surprise. All right, so then Pat says, hey, Laura, we need one more player. Would you like to play some basketball with us? Actually, she would be really great for the team. She's tall.
She
can help you, block the ball a bit.
Okay, so Laura seems pretty happy to join in. She says, sure, I just need to warm up for a few moments. So warm up is a phrasal verb, super important for exercises. To warm up means to do stretches and maybe a bit of light exercise like a quick jog or something like that, so that the blood starts moving to your muscles and the muscles themselves become loose and ready to be used in an activity. We can also use the noun a warm-up, in which case we'd put a hyphen in, and a warm-up is the routine of stretches and small exercises. Now, you should warm up before you exercise. You'll always see athletes warming up before they play games or start to race and things like that.
That's right. It's very important, especially when you're doing sports or anything that involves like using your muscles a lot.
Yeah, stretching, running, doing something active.
All right, so Laura says, my muscles are really tight. So she knows she has to warm up and she says, my muscles are really tight. Now, we keep seeing this word muscle, or we keep saying this word muscle. Now, what muscles are, it's basically we have something called tissues and cells in our body. Now, what the tissues do is they help you move your body around. For example, your heart beats because the muscles in your heart work together to pump blood throughout your whole body. Now, we can stand up and we can walk around because the muscles in our legs help you do these things. Without muscles, we wouldn't be able to blink, to walk, or to hold things. For example, we can say, George exercised at the gym because he wanted to build more muscles.
So Laura says her muscles are tight. Here, tight means it's stretched so that there's no looseness or ability to move. Now, if you try to do exercise with tight muscles, they will easily get damaged, okay? You could think of the same thing as a wire. If you stretch the wire tight and you try and do stuff with it, it might break. But if the wire is loose, it'll be fine. You can easily move it around and it won't break. We could also describe clothes as being tight, which means they fit very closely and there's no real room to move within them. Okay, so here we could use the word tight like this. This stretch can help relax the tight muscles around your neck. Okay, if your muscles feel very tight, you could also go and get a nice massage to loosen them up.
Sounds really nice. All right, so Pat says, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Let's get started immediately. So Laura actually was trying to say, wait, I need to warm up. You're like, no, don't worry. Come on, let's go. So he says, let's get started. Let's play immediately. Let's play right now.
Yeah, get in the game, which is kind of silly from Pat's point of view. Laura, even though she's thinking, I should stretch, she says, well, I usually stretch before I play sports, but okay. So she's going to get in the game anyway without stretching. Now, to stretch means to straighten or extend your body or a part of your body to its full length. Now, we do this to kind of loosen up our muscles. We talked about stretching in a warm-up. Or we could do it in order to reach something. For example, if I'm stretching my arm, I'm putting it all the way out there. And if I do that several times gently, these muscles will stretch and they'll start to get loose and they won't be too tight when I need to use them. Here's another example of a stretch. The boy stretched in order to reach the cookies on the top shelf. So in that case, he uses whole body, arms, legs, everything to get the cookies.
To try to get the cookie in the cookie jar. All right, so next Pat says, stop worrying. Say, let's try a give and go on the first play. Okay, so he tells Laura, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You don't need to stretch. Just come on and go play with us. Now, a give and go is a phrase, and it's also known as a 1-2 in basketball. Okay, so it means that two players pass the ball to each other. So I pass the ball to Pat. He passes it back to me. So that's called a give and go.
Right. I know that as a 1-2. We often use that in soccer as well, when A passes to B and B passes it straight back. He doesn't hold on to the ball for a while. He doesn't run off with the ball. It's just kind of bop, bop, very quick. And an A will normally keep running when he's passed the ball to B, so that when he receives the ball again, he'll be in a much better position.
So we can use the 1-2 or give and go. In most sports, that involves like
passing something.
A ball or something.
Yeah, and that will usually get you around the defenders and get you in a good position to score. Okay, so Pat then explains a bit further. You sprint under the basket and I'll pass the ball to you. Then quickly pass it back to me. So there we go. He's explaining in more detail, like we just did, the give and go, or the 1-2. He also used the verb to sprint. To sprint means to run very, very, very fast. Basically as fast as you can, like the athletes in the 100 or 200 meter races. Now we can also use the word sprint as a noun. These people are competing in the 100-meter sprint, which means a very fast race. Here's an example sentence. The runners sprinted toward the finish line.
So they ran very, 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 very quickly to the finish line. So we can say, run, Laura, run. All right, so Laura says, okay, let's do this. So she's excited. She wants to, get into the game now, and she's ready to, we can say this is a play, right?
Yeah, it's a play.
When you have a kind of a strategy during a basketball game or any kind of sports game, it's called a play.
So they do the play, they do the give and go, or the 1-2, and then Pat says, we scored!
Yay!
That was outstanding, Laura. Okay, so outstanding. This is an adjective, and it means really good or really high in quality. It's similar to words like excellent, brilliant, great, amazing, and so on. If it's outstanding, it stands out from others around it because it's much better than they are. Here's another example. Ryan's parents were pleased by his outstanding test scores. So his scores were really good.
So you guys scored a point. Pat and Laura scored a point. So
Boom.
Pat's like, okay, this is a great play. So this is a good strategy. So he says, let's try it again.
Yeah, do another give and go. But Laura says, ouch! Okay, why does she say ouch? She says, I think I sprained my ankle during that play when I caught your pass. I can barely move it now. So there's that word play that Tiffany explained, a particular move or strategy or something you use. We also see the verb to sprain. To sprain something is to violently pull or twist the tissue of a joint. So the joints are things like your ankle, your wrist, your elbow. And when you sprain something, you cause it pain. You cause it to kind of swell up and get big, but you don't pull it loose. Okay. Now the tissue that you sprain, it connects bone to bone or bone to other important internal body parts. And if you sprain it, you damage it pretty badly, but you don't snap it. So it's not as bad as like breaking something or really ripping some of your internal tissues, but it's super painful and you shouldn't keep playing sport. Here's another example of sprain. Matt fell down some steps and sprained both his ankles.
Ouch.
Yeah, very ouch. We can also use sprain as a noun, like it's a bad sprain, something like that.
All right, so maybe when Laura was running, we can think about her ankle maybe just going in a different direction.
Yep.
And then she kind of pulls apart that place where the bones connect. So it's actually really painful.
And her muscles were tight as well.
Exactly.
So if she stretched when she was passing the ball back to Pat, maybe she stretched those tight muscles too much and they got damaged.
That's right. So Pat says, oh no, I think you need medical attention. So right, when something happens like this, okay, try not to do it yourself because we might be, fixing it the wrong way. Pat says she needs medical attention. Medical is a vocabulary word, and it's an adjective that means something that is related to medicine and maybe how you can treat diseases or kinds of illnesses or sicknesses, or in this case, certain kind of injuries. Okay, for example, we can say Taiwan has a great medical system.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
I think it's like #1 in the world, I think.
I don't know about that. I'm very, very happy with Britain's health system.
That's a good health system
free.
too.
So yeah, Canada's I think is also pretty good.
Yes.
So anything but the US, basically. That's like the worst. Okay, so Laura maybe needs to go to the doctor. You can look after a sprain and the body will kind of sort itself out, and if you put ice on it, it can help, that kind of thing, and rest it. But if it's really bad, she should seek medical attention, which means go to a doctor. So Laura says, well, hopefully it's not as serious as I think it is. In other words, I hope it's not as bad as I don't think I've really ripped it. Then she says, but better safe than sorry. Now, better safe than sorry is a short sentence, a kind of a proverb. And to find out what it means, we're going to go to our Shortcut for You section and see how we can use this phrase.